Well. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to the Johnstone River Singers.
Good day.
How you going, mate? Welcome to our show this morning. We trust and we hope and we pray that you're going to enjoy it, because we are going to enjoy bringing it to you. But before we start, don't forget, we always have some house rules. So you're sitting comfortably, please remain so. There's no reason to move anywhere at the moment. But should you need the conveniences, like as in a toilet or a loo or a little house or a bathroom, whatever you want to call it, that's fine. Out the back door to your left. And there is a little sign out there that says ladies and one says gents. So your problem if you get them mixed up. But just make sure if the door's shut, knock before. So, as well as that, should anything else occur, we have exit there if we need to, exit there. So I don't envisage any great drama there. Everything else is working, fans are working, lights are working, mic's working, Debbie's working over there, Shannon's working here, Shirley's working on the piano. So once again, before we start, I must say a thank you to Shirley, because she does an awful lot of work, an awful lot of late nights. You know, a lady of her stature and her capabilities should not be doing that. But she's so dedicated that she has to do it. Nobody else can do it. Shirley has to do it, and Shirley knows then, like we all know, if you do it yourself, you know it's done right. So, congratulations to Shirley. After many, many years of hard work and organising these concerts, as well as this one we go to Babinda, and we often do Marina, but every now and then Marina give us some issues that they're in lockdown, but there's a bit of confusion over lockdown, so we don't know, and it doesn't matter. But we enjoy bringing it to you, we enjoy bringing it to the other places, to Babinda and to Marina, and we just trust and hope again that you will enjoy our morning. But we've broken up our segment this morning into 3 segments. I'll come to that in half a minute. As well as that, we've got a few vocals, solos, and we've got the Youth Uniting, and we've got Branson Beach Buddies, and we also have Mike over here. So there's a bit of variety, so we're pretty right there. But as I was going to say, we've broken up the program into 3 segments. The first one is Mother's Day. Mother's Day, even though we're a bit late, Mother's Day was early as far as we're concerned, so it was only in May. After that, the second segment is from musicals, I guess, and it's a happy time, so we just trust that you'll enjoy it as well. Then the third segment, of course, is a bit of romance in the air, with a few songs that take us way back. But before we start, I would like to share with you a story that I have, because if I don't do it now, I won't get time later on. And it's entitled My Mean Mother. And it's to all the mothers around, not only my mean mother. And it goes, I had the meanest mother in the world. While other kids had lollies for breakfast, I had to eat cereals and egg and toast. While other kids had cans of drinks and lollies for lunch, I had to have a sandwich. As you can guess, my dinner was different from other kids. As well as the food we had to eat it at the table and not in front of the TV. My mother also insisted on knowing where we were at all times. You'd think we were on a chain gang or something. She had to know who our friends were, where we were going, and she even told us what time we had to come home. I'm ashamed to admit it, but my mother actually had a nerve to break the child labour laws. She made us work. We had to wash dishes, make our beds, and even learn how to cook. That woman must have stayed awake all night just thinking up things for us kids to do. She always insisted that we told the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. By the time we were teenagers, our whole life had become even more unbearable. No tooting the car horn for the girls in our family to come running. She embarrassed us by insisting that the boys come to the door to get us. Oh, and I forgot to mention that most of our friends were allowed to date at the mature age of 11 and 13. And our old-fashioned mum refused to let us date before we were at least 16. Yes, she really raised us a bunch of squares. None of us kids were ever arrested for shoplifting or busted for dope. And who do you think we have to thank for this? You're right, our mean mother. Every day we hear cries from both our people and politicians about what our country really needs. What our country really needs are more mean mothers. That is so true. So, thank you folks. Again, thank you for coming this morning. You're not guaranteed an enjoyable morning because we all have different tastes, but you will have a very enjoyable morning. So folks, we are about to now to bring you our first group of songs. One day when we were young, in the shade of the old apple tree, a mother as lovely as you, side by side, underneath the spreading chestnut tree.
God was kind in giving me a mother.
Now, as per usual, Shirley's going to bring us a segment of stories and a poem. But before I do that, I must mention that maybe we are here just as a little singing group in a little place called Innisfail in far north Queensland, of which we are proud. But unbelievably or not, today, again, we will be probably going all around the world. So later in the day, everything will be posted on Facebook and on YouTube or wherever it goes, and apparently it will be visible all around the world. So little old Innisfail, worldwide, how about that? Yes. So anyone watching on YouTube, wherever you are, welcome. And so now, I think I will hand over to Shirley and bit more entertainment.
Thank you, Trevor, and welcome everybody. It's great to see you all again, and it's lovely to come and have a fun morning together. I'll start with just following on the mother theme. I found this little poem that was written by an older lady in memory of her mother. She said, "I wish I had my mother now to talk to and reminisce. I have the time to sit for hours, to hug and laugh and kiss, to hear the anecdotes again, the little lilting songs, the tales of childhood, hers and mine, the hurts, the pains, the wrongs. I wish I had my mother now, for we could be such friends. At last I understand her needs and crave to make amends." And I have some jokes for you. "Doctor," the lady said loudly, bouncing into the room, "I want to know what's wrong with me." "Well, ma'am," he said, looking her over, "I've 3 things to tell you. First, you should lose at least 50 pounds. Second, cut down on your makeup. And third, I'm an artist. The doctor's on the next floor up." "Are your father and mother in?" asked the visitor of the small boy who answered the door. "They was in," the boy said, "but they is out." "They was in, they is out? Where's your grammar?" She's upstairs having a nap. Tom was home from college for a visit. May I tell you a narrative, Mum? The mother, not being used to his new vocabulary, said, a narrative? Yes, Mum, a narrative is a tale. That night, when going to bed, he said, could you please extinguish the light, Mum? Seeing the look on her face, he added, extinguish means to put out. A few days later, the dog scratched at the back door, and the mother said, Tom, please take the dog by the narrative and extinguish him. My friend Gary had the solution for forgetting his wife's birthday and their wedding anniversaries. So he opened an account with a local florist and provided it with both dates as well as instructions to send flowers each time and a card signed, your loving husband, Gary. And for a few years it worked very well. But one day, Gary came home on their wedding anniversary and he saw some beautiful flowers on the dining room table and he said, oh, what lovely flowers. Where did you get them? A man and his wife were having some problems at home and were giving each other the silent treatment. Suddenly the man realised that the next day he would need his wife to wake him at 5 a.m. for an early morning business flight. So not wanting to be the first to break the silence, and of course lose, he wrote on a piece of paper, please wake me at 5 a.m. and he left it where he knew she would find it. The next morning the man woke up only to discover it was 8 o'clock and he'd missed his flight. Furious, he was about to go and see why his wife hadn't wakened him when he noticed a piece of paper on the table by his bedside which said, it's 5 a.m, wake up. One summer evening, during a very violent thunderstorm, a mother was tucking her son into bed. She was about to turn off the light when he asked, with a tremor in his voice, Mummy, will you sleep with me tonight? The mother smiled and gave him a reassuring hug. Oh, darling, I'm sorry I can't. I have to sleep with Daddy. A long silence was broken at last. Then she heard a shaky little voice say, Daddy's a big scaredy cat. On a cold winter evening, a man and a woman who've never met before find themselves in the sleeping carriage of a train. After the initial embarrassment, the woman on the top bunk, the man on the lower, they both managed to nod off and fall asleep. In the middle of the night, the woman leaned over and said, I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm awfully cold, and I was wondering if you could possibly hand me up one of those blankets over there. The man leans out and with a glint in his eye says, I've got a better idea. Let's pretend we're married. Oh, considering this for a moment, the woman giggled. Well, why not? Good, replies the man. Get your own blanket. And according to today's regulators and bureaucrats, those of us who were kids in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s probably shouldn't have survived. Our cots were covered with brightly coloured lead paint. We had no childproof lids on medicine bottles, electric sockets, doors or cabinets, and when we rode our bikes, we had no helmets. As children, we would ride in cars with no seat belts or airbags. Riding in the back of a ute or a truck on a warm day was always a special treat. We drank water from the garden hose, not from a bottle. Ooh, no. We ate biscuits, bread and butter, and drank soft drink with sugar in it, but we never were overweight because we were always outside playing. We shared one soft drink with 4 friends. No one actually died from this. We would spend hours building our go-karts out of scraps and then ride fast down the hill, only to find out we'd forgotten to build the brakes. After running into the bushes for a few times, we soon learned how to solve the problem. We didn't have mobile phones, personal computers, internet chat rooms, Facebook, TikTok, all those things, but we had friends. We went outside and found them. We played brandy, and sometimes the ball would really hurt. We fell out of trees, got cut and broke bones and teeth, and there were no lawsuits from these accidents. They were accidents. No one was to blame but us. Remember accidents? Our actions were our own. Consequences were expected. The idea of a parent bailing us out if we got into trouble was unheard of, especially if it was with a school teacher. We then had double trouble at home. Our generation produced some of the best risk takers and problem solvers and inventors ever. The past 50 years have been an explosion of innovation and new ideas. We had freedom, failure, success and responsibility, and we learned how to deal with it all. And if you're one of them, congratulations. And just a little fun poem to finish with. It's called The Little Visitor by Bob Pacey from Bundaberg. My grandma and grandpa lived not too far away, and sometimes if I'm lucky, I'm allowed to go and play. The look upon their faces change as I come through the gate, and I know they love my visits and that they can hardly wait. My grandpa hurries out the back and closes up his shed. His eyebrows both shoot right up high and his eyes roll round his head. My grandma has some ornaments that I like very much, but they all have such a funny name. She calls them Don't Touch. I love to go with Grandma when she goes to feed the chooks, and I do try not to break the eggs that Grandma needs to cook. For sometimes there's a special treat I know she likes to make. It's the icing still left in the bowl from Grandma's chocolate cake. My daddy isn't home from work. My mum is cooking tea, and I'm listening to stories sitting on my grandpa's knee. He knows lots of stories about horses, cats and dogs, but I wish that Grandpa could make a noise just like a frog. I know that he can do it, and he only has to try. And I wish that he would hurry, for I have a reason why. It's Disneyland for us next year. I know that it's no joke, because I heard Dad say to Mum last night, we'll go when Grandpa croaks. Thank you very
It's rather amazing that I can remember going to school many, many years ago, and we had rainwater tanks. And no doubt the Aussies used to breed in the rainwater tanks, and frogs had a good swim in there, no doubt. But on top of the building was a fibro roof, old-fashioned fibro, corrugated fibro, lead head nails, and all the paint was lead paint. We're still alive. Got me amazed. So where are we? What have we done? So ladies and gentlemen, you're about to be entertained by Mike Keating, who's going to bring you a solo, and it's entitled If I Loved You.
If I loved you, time and again I would try to say all I want you to know. If I loved you, words wouldn't come in an easy way. Round in circles I go. pale and shy. I'd let my golden chances pass me by. Soon you'll leave me, off you would go in the midst of day, never, never to know how I loved you. If I loved you.
Thank you, Mike. Now, next on the agenda, on the next item, we're about to be entertained by Youths United. But as you can see, there's only two here today. Others for various reasons, of course, you know, sickness or away or doctor's appointments. And when you get to a certain age in life, you just seem to know a track to the doctors. It seems to be a common occurrence. But while these ladies are getting organised over there, don't forget that after today there will be a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and no doubt some nice little eats out there. And so please, after we're finished, and we will let you know when that happens, feel free to come and join and to have fellowship and have a chat. So no problem whatsoever. Okay, folks, Youths United. we are lucky even this morning that we've got Mary, because the last 4 or 5 days she's been awfully crook, and I'm amazed that she even got up there this morning to make a noise. So well done. So we had all these plans for the weekend that Mary was going to go to Atherton to a inner wheel Australia inner wheel changeover, but due to bugs and all these sorts of things, it didn't happen. But she's done this, so well done.
There's a couple of others supposed to be in that group who aren't here.
That's right, exactly. Yes. As I said before, we've got 2 due to sickness and others being away, and those doctors that keep knocking on your door. Yes, we're short of numbers. So next item on our list is we are going to be entertained with a solo, and Rusty Wilkins is going to bring that to us.
Wish I was 21 again.
You're right,
Yeah,
Should have passed you the mic, sorry.
Sherry, I want to introduce the song. I want to introduce the song.
Yeah, all right.
This one?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to never sing you a song. It was composed in 1931 and was released to 1942 in the movie called Casablanca. As time goes by. Big back memories, don't they? Ready, Shirley? You must remember this. Our kiss is just a kiss. Our sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply as time goes by. And when two lovers woo, they say I love you, can that you can rely. No matter what the future brings as time goes by. Moonlight and love songs, never out of date. Hearts full of passion, jealousy and hate. Woman needs a man, and man must have his mate. That things that can deny. It's still the same old story, a fight for love and glory, a case or do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by. Moonlight love songs, never out of date. Hearts full of passion, jealousy and hate. What it needs man, and man must have his mate, that no one can deny. It's still the same old story, a fight for love and glory, a case for do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by.
Well done, thank you, Rusty. You passed.
I'm not picked in.
No, you haven't really. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to be entertained by a bit of country and western music. Our friend and colleague Michael Seeney.
Dogs on the veranda for the master side, drinking wine with his mates. Harry's for cover, drinking his beer, to a place for a dog, round a pub with no beer. Oh, Billy the blacksmith, first time in his life, he's gone on cold sober, his darling wife. Walks in the kitchen, says you're early to live, and he breaks down and tells her, if I've got no beer. It's hard to believe there's got good still, but it's a big league in that old ancient hill. The wine busts are happy, and I know they're sincere, but they say they don't care if the pub's got no beer. It's a lonesome away from the kindred and home, by the campfire at night, where the wild eagles home. There's nothing so lonesome more than ordinary than to stand in a bar of a pub with no beer.
Thank you, Michael. Now, folks, we are going to be entertained again by the Brampton Beach Buddies. So, as they get up and get organised, isn't it amazing that, country and western music is, it really fits the bill for lots of things. But how lucky we are, how blessed we are that we are the ones that can sit back and we can really enjoy music. And as I've said many, many times, I believe that music is the universal language. Everybody can understand and everybody can relate to music. Even when you are in the sad state of dementia sort of thing, music can still reach in a mind, so which is a great thing.
We haven't got Greta here today. Greta is our ukulele player who helps in the ukulele group, and she was playing for these Brampton Beach ones, but she has had an urgent specialist appointment, and so I'll play. Yes, I've got that.
So, folks, we now hand over to the Brampton Beach Buddies.
Now listen, you should join in with us. We need help here, please.
That'd be like our ukulele player, she wanted more money.
Almost 40, all covered with snow. I lost my true lover from counting too slow. It's a pleasure, but parting is free, and a false-hearted lover is worse than a thief. A thief will just rob you and take what you have, but a false-hearted lover will lead you to the grave. The grave will decay you and turn you to dust, but no one will wonder can ever you trust. So come in, young maiden, and listen to me. Never place your affection in a green willow tree, for the leaves they will wither, the roots they will die, and youth is forsaken and never know why. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese, once was as tasty could be. The early next summer, I grew on a tree. The tree all covered with moss, and on it grew maples with tomato sauce. So if you eat ready, all covered with cheese, hold on to your meatballs whenever you sneeze.
Okay, folks, so while they get organised, we will get organised again and we'll bring you the next segment of our songs. And as I say, this is from many of the musicals. Number one is Consider Yourself, a Whistle a Happy Tune, Spoonful of Sugar, and Ale and Peas. So, as you know most of them, we're lucky we've got words. So please consider yourself fortunate enough that you can join in. And if you feel brave enough and strong enough, please come up. Thank you, folks. So, we're coming on through the program, but you've learned a bit about us. But we need to know a bit about you. So, where are you from? Anybody from Tully? Hands up. Wonderful. Thank you very much indeed for coming and joining us this morning. Wonderful to see. Thank you very much indeed. At Tully, then we have Mission Beach. I'm waiting for the hands to come up. Yes. Well done. Thank you very much indeed. We trust that you will enjoy our program. So we had Mission Beach and we've got Larish. You better yell out if you say yes. Then we come to, what's that, Silgood? Ah, wonderful. Welcome. And then we go to a place down on the beach, I think it's Curramine Beach. Yes, well done. Then we probably go to South Johnstone. Well done, well done. What about Flying Fish Point? Where are you? Mission Beach, we've been there, didn't we?
No.
Didn't we go to Mission Beach? You want to come on this trip with me? Now I've lost it. So we probably, I know we can go to Branston Beach. Yay! Oh, I love it. Yeah, love it. Babinda. Lovely. Well done. And we had the pleasure of being in Babinda last week, so it was, and just to enjoy this beautiful weather, absolutely spectacular. So then we went to probably Mirrawinny, no go, that's the reason. And what about
Visitors from other places.
Marillion? So? I know you've got to wait, girl. You've got to wait. Then Innisfail. Sorry? A bit better, but not real good. Okay, then we'll go up on the hill. Belvedere. Yes, definitely. So who have I missed?
Sorry? We have Bill. Just next door. Through the fence.
But don't you come under Innisfail?
No, I'm next door.
Okay. So we've got pretty well right there.
Trevor, we may have visitors from Caravan Park, so that could be from anywhere in Australia.
It's coming up. So we've covered our local area.
East Beluga.
Oh.
It was down on the cassowary. Where
Okay.
do cassowaries come from? Itchy Bay.
Yeah. Eddie Bay.
They're the specialised cassowary down there. They're part of the family. Yeah. So, okay, we've been pretty well around the country, so I've been beautiful Eddie Bay. Okay, thank you very much indeed. What about, who didn't put their hand up? Okay.
Come down.
You've been Angie. Okay, well, pretty close. Sundown, okay, fine. Yeah, I'm waiting. Tully Edge. Tully, lovely spot. Welcome. Good on you. Beautiful, beautiful. Lovely to see you. Morayfield. Is that in Queensland? That's in the other part of the state, is it? Welcome. Anybody else wish to say where they came from? Con curry. Can't hear. Con curry, yes, yep. Well done. And Bruce, I saw you put your hand up for something.
You missed Sam Johnson and Peter Creek.
Mina Creek. Well, let's put it this way. A lot of people here came from somewhere in the Cassowary Coast. Welcome. Consider yourself one of us. If you're not from the Cassowary Coast, consider yourself one of us. Welcome to Innisfail. Welcome to the best part of the world. So, after getting myself into a bit of trouble there, Shirley, I think we better call on you.
I'm watching the clock, but I have this all time, which is what takes a lot of time at home doing this. How dare you insult me in this paper, in your newspaper, Raw the Politician? I demand a public apology. Just a moment, answered the editor. We printed the item exactly as you gave it to us, that you had resigned your office. That's not the point, the politician replied. Why did you put it in the column under public improvements? A customer wanted to buy a chicken, and the butcher had only one left. He weighed it and said, it's a beauty. It'll be $1.25. That's not big enough, said the customer. The butcher went into the back room, came out with the same chicken, put it on the scales, added his thumb for a bit of extra weight. This one's $1.85, he said. That's fine, the customer said. I'll take both of them. The customer had been trying on shoes for more than an hour and still couldn't decide which pair to buy. The shoe salesman had gone back and forth to the stock room at least 30 times in search of something that would please her. Finally, he sat in the chair next to her and said, excuse me, do you mind if I rest for a few minutes? Your feet are killing me. The couple had been married for 25 years and were celebrating the husband's 60th birthday. During the party, a fairy appeared and said, because they've been such a loving couple all those years, she would give them one wish each. The wife said, we've been so poor all these years, I've never gotten to see the world. I wish we could go on a trip around the world. The fairy waved her wand and poof, she had the tickets in her hand. Next it was the husband's turn. He paused for a moment and then said, well, I'd like to be married to a woman 30 years younger than me. The fairy waved her wand and poof, he was 90. A devout Arab Muslim entered a black cab in London. He curtly asked the cabbie to turn off the radio because as decreed by his religious teaching, he mustn't listen to music because in the time of the Prophet there was no music, especially Western music. The cab driver politely switched off the radio, stopped the cab and opened the door. The Arab Muslim said, why are we stopping here? The cabbie answered, in the time of the Prophet there were no taxis, so out you get and wait for the next camel. Two patients limped into two different medical clinics with the same complaint. Both have trouble walking and appear to require a hip replacement. The first patient is examined within the hour, is x-rayed the same day, and has a time booked for surgery the following week. The second sees his family doctor after waiting 3 weeks for an appointment, then waits 8 weeks to see the specialist, then gets an x-ray, which isn't reviewed for another week. Finally, has his surgery scheduled for a month from then. Why the different treatment for two patients? Well, the first is a golden retriever, and the second is a senior citizen. Next time, take me to the vet. The last one, an elderly Florida lady did her shopping and upon returning to her car, found 4 males in the act of leaving with her vehicle, getting into her vehicle. She dropped the shopping bags, drew out her grandson's toy handgun, and proceeded to scream at the top of her voice, "I have a gun, get out of my car, I know how to use it, get out of the car." The 4 men didn't wait for a second invitation. They got out and ran like mad. The lady, somewhat shaken, then proceeded to load all her bags into the back of the car. She was so shaken that she couldn't get into her key, and then she got into the driver's seat. But she was so shaken up that she couldn't get her key into the ignition. She tried and tried, and then it dawned on her. She looked up, and there she saw her car parked 4 or 5 paces further down the road. She loaded her bags into the car and drove to the police station. The sergeant to whom she told the story couldn't stop laughing. He pointed to the other end of the counter where there were 4 very pale men reporting a carjacking by a mad elderly woman described as white, less than 5 feet tall, glasses, curly white hair, and carrying a large handgun. Her senior moment was certainly the most memorable one. Just a little bit of nostalgia this morning. A poem called Grandma's Laundry. I remember Grandma's laundry with a basket made of cane and lines that stretched from wall to wall to hang things when it rained. There used to be a copper out where Grandma used to toil, and a stick to lift the clothes out when the water reached the boil. There were twin tubs made of concrete with a wringer in between. A wringer in a laundry it now is hardly ever seen. Upon a shelf a little box of starch called Silver Star. Kero tins for buckets. Remember back that far? A dipper with a handle to help our Grandma cope, and a little wire basket with a piece of sunlight soap. She used to have a washboard for scrubbing out the clothes. You must be getting on in years if you used one of those. A saucer on the windowsill with bags of Reckitt's blue to make the white clothes whiter still, but good for bee stings too. Some sand soap and a scrubbing brush for scrubbing all the floors, and some firewood for the copper in a box behind the door. A tin roof and some guttering with a funny sort of sag, and a heap of wooden dolly pegs in a homemade Hessian bag. And out the back a clothesline, not the kind that spins around, but a clothes prop, held the clothes up high from dragging on the ground. I wonder what Grandma would say if only she could see that washomatic marble where the copper used to be, the dryer in the corner, the tubs of stainless steel, hot water pouring from the taps. I wonder how she'd feel. I think that Grandma would approve the changes made, and yet there were things in Grandma's laundry that I simply can't forget.
Okay, folks, so again we're going to be entertained by Mr. Mike Keating, who's going to bring us a solo, Someone Bigger Than You and I.
Who made the mountains? Who made the tree? Who made the river flow to the sea? And who hung the moon in the starry sky? bigger than you and I. Who makes the flowers bloom in the spring? Who writes the song for the robin to sing? And who sends the rain when the earth is dry? Somebody bigger than you and I. He lights the way when the road is long, keeps you company. With love to guide you, he walks beside you, just like he walks with me. When I'm weary, filled with despair, who gives me courage to go on from there? And who gives me faith that will never die? Somebody bigger than you and I. He lights the way when the road is long, keeps you company. With love to guide you, he walks beside you, just like he walks with me. When I'm weary, filled with despair, who gives me courage to go on from there? And who gives me faith that will never die? Somebody bigger than you and I.
Okay. It is time. It is time. It's time for the ladies to bring us a song. And we're not going to take a vote on it today. We're not going to take a applaud. So everything's fine. You can applaud as much as you like, but no competition. And the song they're going to bring us is Getting to Know You.
I'm sorry, guys. On your feet.
I'm getting married in the morning. Ding dong, bells are gonna chime. Pull out the stopper, let's have a whopper, but get me to the church on time. I gotta get there in the morning. First up, looking in my prime.
So now, folks, we're going to be really entertained this time by another solo by Mr. Graham Wybird, You'll Never Walk Alone.
This song originally came from the musical Carousel. And in, I think it was 1961, Jerry and the Pacemakers, I think, recorded it. And soon after, some of those people who play around with a round ball on a field. What? Soccer? Soccer where? Okay, yeah. The Liverpool Football Club sort of adopted it as its theme song. It's a song that talks about resilience and hope. And that's why I've chosen it today. Not because it suits my voice, because it doesn't. That means you've got to help me. Okay? I'm going to sing it through twice. So on the second time through, there's no excuse for you. All right? So, resilience and hope, because the world certainly needs that today. When you walk through us, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm, there's a golden sky, and the sweet silver song of the lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on, with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. When you walk through the storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm is a golden sky, and the sweet silver song of the lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone.
Now, Shirley is going to bring us a poem, but I can also understand, Shirley does the program every time, and I can understand now why she put us, the group of guys before Graham, so thank you, Matt.
I just thought this little snippet from Helen Steiner Rice followed on the words of the song that Graham has just sung to us. And it also encompasses the songs that we're going to bring to you in just a moment. I've called it Sunshine and Rain. We wouldn't enjoy the sunshine if we never had the rain. We wouldn't appreciate good health if we never had a pain. If we never shed a teardrop and always wore a smile, we'd all get tired of laughing after we'd grinned a while. Everything is by comparison, both the bitter and the sweet, and it takes a bit of both of them to make our lives complete. For life is a mixture of sunshine and rain, laughter and pleasure, teardrops and pain. All days can't be bright, but it's certainly true. There was never a cloud that the sun didn't shine through. So just keep on smiling, whatever betide you, secure in the knowledge God is always beside you.
Thank you, Shirley. So, folks, we come to the latter part of our program this morning, and don't forget afterwards a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or some eats out there. The ladies have got it already. So we will be there shortly. So this group of songs, this is Dear Hearts and Gentle People by Blue Heaven, Singing in the Rain, Look for the Silver Lining, and When You're Smiling. And I'm sure that you know these as well as what we did. So I noted that when Graham was singing, there was a lot of participation. So we encourage that. Be happy, be gay, be joyful, and sing along. Thank you.
Rain. is dying. You bring on the rains into the shine. Be happy and you are smiling. 'Cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you.
So keep on smiling, keep that sunshine.
So folks, that's almost it from us. But first of all, before we close off, I would like to say a thank you to quite a few people. Number one, thank you to the ladies at the back and the young gentlemen who are doing the catering and organising a cup of tea and Vicky's and eats for you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed to Debbie and Shannon for doing sound and for getting us onto worldwide scene. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you to Johnstone River Singers. I think you've done pretty well today, 9 3/4 out of 10. But last and most importantly, I think I'll put that aside for a minute. Thank you, the audience, the people in the seats. Thank you for coming and making our morning worthwhile. Not only hopefully did we make our morning worthwhile, but make your morning worthwhile. And that is our aim, to entertain you and to bring back a bit of nostalgia, back down memory lane, you know, the good great old days. But to our pianist, our organiser, our one that gets us rhythm, Shirley, thank you very much indeed. Again, you have a spirit. As we all know, the program would not happen if it wasn't for Shirley. To our vocalists, thank you very much indeed. To everybody, thank you very much indeed. So as we close now, we will sing you this song. Can you do a benediction for us?
Yes.
You want to say something?
I'd just also like to thank Trevor, who's done a terrific job seeing us through the program this morning and making you all feel welcome. As you know, we're not a choir, we're just a group of people who love to sing. And we're not, all fancy and everything else. We just do our best. And I make mistakes and we all make mistakes. But you just love us for it and don't worry about it. The older you get, the more mistakes you make. I've fuddled a bit this morning because I'm transposing some of them, and now at nearly 93, the brain isn't working as quickly as it should do sometimes, and I just miss the cue to come in. But that's not what I wanted to say. I want to say a special thank you to all my group. We're a little bit rusty this morning because we missed out on one of our practices. We were to go to Arena on Monday, and there were 25 of us going, and we were all dressed, ready to go. Some of us were just starting to take our COVID tests, and my phone rang from Anna to say she'd just got to work and they had closed down because they thought they had some cases of COVID there, and they shut us down and we weren't allowed to come. So I had to ring round 30 people and tell them all, 25, tell them all we couldn't go. So we missed having a practice that day and or an extra chance to sing our songs. So that was a shame. We're still hoping to go there. Speaking to Anna this morning, and we might be able to go next Monday, but I don't know yet. So I've got to let everybody know. So we will collect our books at the end, group, just in case we don't have to go to Arena. And we'll take them along to Arena if we're going. I'll let you know. Sorry about a bit of housekeeping there.
Thank you, Shirley. So folks, as we close, please let us pray. Heavenly Father, we just come before you this morning, Lord, we give you thanks for the morning you've allowed us to enjoy. We give you thanks, Lord, for your music, for your words. You have led us, you have guided us so carefully. And Lord, we just thank you that you love us so much. So Lord, as we come to the end of the program, this program, Lord, may our program continue to carry on forever and ever. So Lord, we just pray these blessings, and we thank you for your blessing, and we thank you for your guidance. And Lord, we just pray as we go, you will keep us all safe, keep us the way where you want us to be, guide us and strengthen us. And Lord, we do this through Christ our Lord. Amen. So folks, let us bring our final words to you today.